Welcome to Legally Everywhere, where we are what?
On this channel, we talk about power dynamics, and we also talk about what happens, what's the impact, who absorbs the impact, right? When people are having their wars or conflicts, whether it's your manager in a company, or if it's, let's say, your constituent and it's the government, right? When people are having their discussions and their negotiations, no one's ever going to negotiate to absorb the harm. So who usually absorbs the harm? It's the client, it's the constituent, it's the consumer, right? That's who absorbs the harm, because they're often not at the table to negotiate what their experience is going to be. So somebody has to absorb it. Nobody typically negotiates them absorbing that, right? So they shift that liability, they shift that experience on to someone else. So the question always for me is, what's the impact? What's the longitudinal impact? What is the implication, right? So right now the conversation is Middle East escalation risk, right? Because so much is going on right now. Literally, I said, you wake up and hang by the edges. You go to sleep thinking one thing, you wake up and it's like, it's actually worse. How? But somehow it is. There's the energy market impacts. We know significantly some things have been happening that would impact energy markets. So global impact. And then we're talking about diplomatic pressures, right? When there'll be another live that I do with regards to mediation and negotiation and the conversation of general good faith, right? You want to feel like when you go into a negotiation or a mediation that someone's trying to operate in good faith, right? You can believe that whatever they say they're going to do is what they're going to do. They come in with good intentions. So what happens when it feels like the intentions are not necessarily as good or forthcoming, right? It mars and faces what room sometimes people are willing to, what room and flexibility you might have in a certain situation, right? Because if you can't trust them to do what they say they're going to do, or if you can't trust that you won't be attacked, or if you can't trust that, whatever situation, whether we're talking about global things or we're talking about your everyday situation, that causes some barriers to success, right? I have a whole lot that I'll do on that piece about with regards to like bad faith or someone potentially trying to operate in what they generally call in legal situations good faith or mediation situations. But that is somewhat that longitudinal impact. That is that general, like, what next? Like what might be the next look? So if you're interested in the conversation I'm talking about that I observed, the debate, which we will play at the end, if you want to see some of the legal documents, or better yet, the open source articles that are referenced that cover some of the key topic areas that we'll hear later, then I recommend that you go ahead, go to the channel and look for this cover. This is the cover page. These are the three individuals who are speaking and representing their positions, right? There's a whole 10-minute video. We will hear it auditorily, or we will hear it as an audio at the closure of reading the United Nations responses, okay? So once again, this is a typed out version of the visual graphic that I created.